Kidney dialysis is a treatment for people with kidney failure. Dialysis is usually done with a dialysis machine. We say usually because in peritoneal dialysis this isn't the case, but you don't need to know about this. A dialysis machine is an artificial kidney to which patients are connected to remove waste from the blood. The patient gets connected to the machine and then tubes pump blood in and out of the machine. So how does a dialysis machine imitate the functioning of a kidney? This diagram shows a dialysis machine in use, with these tubes connected to the patient. First, dialysis fluid enters via a tube. That's shown by this top tube just here in blue. Next, blood enters via a soft tube. This comes from the patient and moves in this direction. Waste products diffuse from the blood into the dialysis fluid. This diffusion happens across a membrane inside the machine. Used dialysis fluid exits for disposal. So having moved through the machine, this fluid then comes out of this tube moving in this direction. Disposal means throwing away. And finally, filtered blood returns to the body. So which substances are diffusing across the membranes inside the dialysis machine? In this diagram, you can see running side by side but in opposite directions, dialysis fluid and blood. Blood that enters the machine contains urea, ions, glucose and water. Dialysis fluid contains all of these except urea. In the dialysis fluid, the ions, glucose and water are present in similar concentrations as healthy levels in the blood. Urea will move from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. Another way of describing this movement is down a concentration gradient. Once in the dialysis fluid, this urea can then be disposed of. Dialysis fluid contains an ion concentration similar to the ideal blood plasma concentration. In this scenario, individual ions might diffuse in both directions due to the normal movement of liquids. There will be no net movement of ions if their concentration is the same both in the dialysis fluid and the blood. Remember that net means overall, so net movement means overall movement of ions. This is really important because it means that a patient with a healthy level of ions will maintain that level during their dialysis treatment. But what if the ions in the patient's blood were too high? If the patient's blood ion levels are too high, excess ions will diffuse into the dialysis fluid. This diagram clearly shows that the ion levels in the blood are higher than the levels in the dialysis fluid. In this situation, the ions would just move into the dialysis fluid, restoring the ideal levels in the blood. What about the opposite then? What if the levels of ions in the blood are too low? If the patient's blood ion levels are too low, excess ions will diffuse into the blood. This time, you can see that the ion levels in the dialysis fluid are greater than they are in the blood vessel. When this happens, the ions from the dialysis fluid will move into the blood, restoring ideal levels. The same process occurs to restore healthy levels of glucose in the blood.
Thanks for watching. If you want to take your GCSE revision to the next level, head over to launchpadlearning.com and check out our smart learning platform that's been designed to get you top results in your exams. We cover your whole specification and make revision fun with interactive quizzes, easy-to-follow videos, and more. You'll be kept motivated by your own AI tutor who's here to support you every step of the way. To check it out for yourself, click here. Or click here to keep watching a selection of the videos from our full GCSE Biology course. See you there!